Hey, it's Em, and I apologize if you can hear the neighbors down the street are literally jackhammering. So I apologize if you can actually hear it. Maybe, hopefully you can't, but it's not ideal. Anyway, we were going to go ahead and talk about Spider-Man Brand New Day, which I saw back when it opened a couple weekends ago. To position myself a little here. Growing up, I was more of a Superman girly. I did read some Spider-Man comics, but not regularly. Was never into Batman. Still am not into Batman. Just, I don't know. Doesn't appeal to me. But I really liked the Tobey Maguire movies. Well, I liked the first two Tobey Maguire movies. Did anybody like the third one? I don't know. Maybe. I only recently even saw the Andrew Garfield ones because when they came out, I just had no interest at that point. I had other things going on. I probably had very young children still. So I did see those finally, like literally, I think a few years ago. And they made zero impression on me. I couldn't even tell you anything about either of them at this point. And then I have enjoyed the Tom Holland ones. I really liked Homecoming. And then the other two were just kind of like okay for me. I mean, they were fine. I didn't have a good cinema experience with No Way Home because of like bad behaviors in the theater. So I probably dislike that movie more than I really should because my memory of it has been tainted. I should probably rewatch it. But honestly, I was just kind of underwhelmed. It was fine. And it was fun to see all of the Spider-Men together, I guess. Or whatever. I'm also not a big fan of Doctor Strange. So anytime he's around, I'm just like, ugh, who cares? But this one. So Spider-Man 2, the Tobey Maguire one, was my favorite Spider-Man movie for a long time. Homecoming was my favorite Tom Holland one. But this is now, I think, my favorite Spider-Man movie. At the very least, it's tied with Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man 2. But, yeah, I mean, we have Peter / Spider-Man. He, in the last movie, everybody had to forget him. MJ and Ned have gone off to MIT, I think. I lived in Boston for like 6 years, so very familiar. And then I lived in the suburbs for another 6 years. And it's been the 4 years. MJ and Ned have returned to New York to find jobs now that they have graduated, I guess. I feel like MJ was better off in Massachusetts just because she's obviously a target once she's back in Spider-Man's orbit, even if she doesn't remember him. I mean, he still cares about her, and that is the danger. But what we see is that Peter has thrown himself into his work. It's just go, 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 clean up the criminals. His whole life is his job, right? No work-life balance, I guess. But then when a new threat arises, this unknown person who has the ability to kind of take over people's minds and make them do things that once that consciousness departs, the person doesn't remember. And so they wake up just suddenly someplace they don't know how they got there, what they're doing, why they're there, that kind of thing. That's the setup. And then this, as Spider-Man tries to track down this threat, the threat turns its attention to MJ. What I really, really enjoyed here was that, first of all, I just feel like it was very smart of them to, kind of give us the 4-year jump because the actors have aged noticeably. Not in a bad way. It's just, they're obviously not high schoolers anymore, not even new college students. These are older people. So it makes sense to age them up. And in order to get MJ back into New York, I mean, because you need her in New York for plot reasons, but you also want to have the sense that she's accomplished something. She's not like she didn't end up going away to school, or something. She didn't drop out. You want her to be a successful young woman. So she got her degree. She's back. She's looking for a job. But her criteria is that she wants to be sure that any job she takes is not evil, I guess. It's not an evil corporation kind of thing. Unfortunately, those jobs are few and far between, I think, these days. Anyway, she and Ned are, sharing an apartment and doing their thing. They get dragged unwittingly into the Spider-Man thing because they don't remember. Although, do they? Because Ned does, even though Ned doesn't remember that his friend Peter is Spider-Man, he does remember having been saved by Spider-Man a few times in the past. So that's interesting. They've forgotten Peter, but they remember Spider-Man, interactions with Spider-Man. They just don't remember that Peter is Spider-Man because they don't remember Peter. I don't know. Explain it to me in the comments if you know how that worked exactly. What I really enjoyed was the Punisher. This is probably, not that the bar is high, but this is probably my favorite, depiction of him outside of the comics. And again, I didn't read a lot of Punisher comics. I was aware of Punisher, but it wasn't really, I was not the target audience for that. But I have seen some of the media, and I don't know. This Frank Castle is my favorite. He's kind of playing the straight man here. I think the balance of his kind of dry wit, sarcasm, cynicism, and the underlying pain is well done here. John Bernthal does a fantastic job because that is a difficult tone to nail, and he nails it. So good on him. I really enjoyed him. And no, I haven't been watching the TV show. What I think somebody was like, oh yeah, he was in the blind lawyer. What's his name? Daredevil? He was in Daredevil, I guess. I don't know. I will admit that I enjoyed that first era of Marvel movies, but only casually. Again, I was not some big comics fan. I wasn't bringing to the table a bunch of history and back knowledge or whatever. I was just kind of approaching it fresh. And then, I don't know, once there were like 50 different TV shows and all this stuff, and it started to feel like homework, I got Marvel fatigue. I was just like, I don't care. I almost didn't go see this movie because I was just like, I don't even really care anymore. But I will say, last year, I really, really enjoyed Thunderbolts. I really, really enjoyed Fantastic Four. So I was kind of like, oh, maybe it's getting good again. Maybe it's worth seeing. And everybody was saying how good Brand New Day was. My whole family was going. They were like, come on, come with us. We went to the movie theater that had the really good popcorn and Dole Whip. So that more or less sold me. I was like, well, if nothing else, I'll get really good popcorn and Dole Whip out of it. And then I ended up really, really enjoying the movie. I'm not going to give away the big surprise, even though I kind of had a feeling. I knew it was going to be one of a couple things, and it was one of the things I had kind of conjectured it might be. But yeah, I think my favorite scene, though, besides scenes between Spider-Man and Punisher, my favorite scene was when, and I guess spoiler if you haven't seen it, is a point where Spider-Man goes to visit Ned and MJ in their apartment, and he and Ned are like building Lego sets and just hanging out and having fun. That was just a really nice moment, and I really enjoyed that. But honestly, I enjoyed the whole movie. It was pretty clear who the bad guy was from the beginning, though. Like, they telegraphed that pretty clearly. The bad guy outside of the main threat, let's say. I actually kind of want to go see it again, but I'm finally seeing the Odyssey today. I was supposed to go again, like back when it opened, but I had bronchitis and I couldn't go. So we have IMAX tickets for today. So I'll be able to talk about that in a near future video. I'm also reading the new Anna and Den novel. What is it called? A Trade of Blood, I think. It's kind of a Romeo and Juliet story, foundationally, and then it goes from there. So I'll be able to talk about that soon as well, because I'm halfway through that. But, like, I'm not getting into like super details because, again, I don't want to ruin anything for anybody. This was a solid film, even for somebody who was A, not that excited about it, B, is lukewarm on Marvel and comic stuff in general. So if I can like it, I feel like a lot of people can like it. Now, I don't know. Maybe I'm easy to please because I don't have a bunch of background, a bunch of expectations. I'm not bringing to the table a whole historical knowledge of Spider-Man and this story in which he is evolving, I guess. His spider DNA is activated more and he's getting more spidery, which is a big part of what he's dealing with. Because as ever, these superhero stories are so often about being different and what it means to be different and what you do with the power and differences that you have. Like, how do you utilize that? And I feel like in this day and age, it's a fair question. If you've got power, if you've got money and authority and the ability to use it in some way, how are you using it? That is the class war, isn't it? And if you think of superheroes as a class, pretty high up because they have these powers and these abilities that the average person doesn't, then the way you use that is a big part of who you are as a person. Just saying. But yeah, if you've seen Brand New Day, let me know in the comments what you thought. But if you're looking forward to Doomsday, again, I'm kind of, I don't know, lukewarm. I don't know. I'll go see it. Are you doing Doomsday? Are you doing the Dune and Doomsday thing? I don't know if we're going to do that because we'll want to see Dune on IMAX and then I guess we can see Doomsday. I assume our IMAX cinema will also have Doomsday playing on a different screen somewhere. I guess we'll see. I'm fortunate to live very near an IMAX cinema. Let me know your thoughts about this. If you're excited for Doomsday, if you're excited for Dune 3, let me know. And yeah, until next time, take care.